The Muhammad Yunus-led interim government, already under mounting pressure from both the army and political parties, now faces a new wave of nationwide protests. First, civil servants, then thousands of primary school teachers have begun an indefinite strike. Some teachers are continuing to hold classes but refusing administrative duties. So what's the underlying situation? Is it a political vacuum? One that the ambitious Army Chief General Waker-Uz-Zaman can exploit? Hello and welcome. I'm Mark Lin. Let's connect the dots. At the heart of the teachers' protest are three critical demands: revising their base salary to 11th grade on the national pay scale, resolving the delays in obtaining higher grades after 10 and 16 years of service, expediting promotions, ensuring assistant teachers are elevated to head teacher positions without delay. The protests gained momentum after weeks of partial work abstention since May 5. There are currently multiple groups on strike in Bangladesh. Secretariat employees are protesting against the Public Service Amendment Ordinance 2025. Officials from 25 different civil service cadres, excluding the administration cadre, are demanding the abolition of quotas in promotions, the establishment of profession-based ministries, and equality among all cadres. Now, the Public Service Amendment Ordinance 2025, issued by the interim government under Muhammad Yunus, allows the dismissal of civil servants within 14 days of certain disciplinary violations. The ordinance enables the government to terminate employees through a show-cause notice, bypassing formal departmental proceedings. The Public Service Amendment Ordinance 2025 has not been officially repealed, but the government has paused its enforcement following intense protests. While the protests have been temporarily halted, the ordinance remains in place, and civil servants are waiting for an official government response. The Yunus administration has deployed SWAT and Border Guard Bangladesh (BGP) forces. This is to control the unrest at the Secretariat. Muhammad Yunus, the interim chief advisor of Bangladesh, wanted to resign amid growing political pressure and unrest. He reportedly told his advisors that he was struggling to function properly due to the ongoing crisis and lack of consensus among political parties. However, his cabinet members persuaded him to stay on, arguing that his leadership was necessary for a peaceful transition.
So in such a situations, people's expectations are obviously very high. But the ground reality with regards to implementation or expectations from this must be commensurate to the reality. So in that regard, I would like to give credit to interim government on certain actions, like they have controlled the spiral of the prices. Challenges that this interim government faces, especially with regards to three key issues. The first issue is the reform. The second issue is taking people to justice, especially of the fascist regime, all that wanton things they have done against the country, and the third of the election.
Yunus has not officially resigned and he continues to lead the interim government. His frustration stems from demands for early elections, particularly from Bangladesh's army and opposition parties, while he insists that reforms must be completed before polls can be held.
Nobody is supporting what Muhammad Yunus is doing because all that he has done, he has tried to ruin the relationship with India, he has tried to stop the trade with India. As a result, factories in Bangladesh are closing down. There is unemployment, there are high prices because if you don't import from India, from wherever else you import, the prices are much higher. So there is all this turmoil going on in the country.
The Army Chief General Waker-Uz-Zaman weighed in with his concerns about early elections and the Rakhine Corridor. General Waker-Uz-Zaman is distantly related to Sheikh Hasina. His wife Begum Sahranaz Kamalika Zaman is Hasina's cousin. Zaman was closely associated with the Hasina administration before her ouster as the Prime Minister. He served as the principal staff officer at the Armed Forces Division under her government, overseeing military operations and intelligence. However, after Hasina was removed in August of 2024, Zaman played a key role in the transition, announcing the formation of the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus.
the Army Chief General Waker-Uz-Zaman had what they call a darbar meeting, when he invited all the army officers, in fact even those who are serving in peacekeeping operations. They joined on virtual net, and the discussion was held with all the army officers, and then he came out with 5 points. And in those 5 points, there was one very, very clear point that the army is insisting that elections must be held in Bangladesh by the end of this year. So actually, it is up to Muhammad Yunus to respond to that, because it must be remembered that last year, when Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina left the country on the 5th of August 2024, it was the army, General Waker-Uz-Zaman, who agreed that Muhammad Yunus can be sworn in as head chief advisor of an interim government. This is only an interim government, it's not even a caretaker government. They have no authority to do reform.
And for the last few weeks, the Yunus government has been grappling with intense political turmoil and widespread protests, including the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP. The BNP, led by Khalida Zia, staged large-scale protests in Dhaka, accusing the government of delaying polls to cling to power. Tensions escalated after Zaman criticized the unilateral decisions, including the controversial Rakhine Corridor plan, which sparked fears of a civil-military confrontation. Yunus's supporters, backed by the student-led Nationalist Citizen Party and the Islamists, have also conducted pro-Yunus rallies. Yunus held marathon talks with multiple parties for 2 days over the weekend to bring them on common ground and agree to a mutually accepted agenda. With the Awami League banned and political unrest growing, Bangladesh is facing deepening uncertainty as stakeholders are clashing over the path to democracy.
Since we have formed a political party, we do have aspirations for power. However, we will engage in pragmatic politics. We are aware of our limitations, but we have entered the field with a long-term vision. Our goal is not just this election or next 5 or 10 years. Rather, our dream spans the next 50 to 100 years. Our generation has been shaped under fascism. Therefore, we see it as our responsibility to build a new Bangladesh for generations to come.
Bangladesh's Army Chief Waker-Uz-Zaman is likely unsettled also by Pakistan's Asim Munir's promotion as a field marshal, and he seeks to consolidate his authority now, including control over the chief advisor Muhammad Yunus. A power struggle between the two leaders is escalating. Zaman has publicly criticized Yunus, insisting that the interim government must hold elections by December 2025 and transition to an elected administration. He has also opposed Yunus's Rakhine Corridor plan, viewing it as a national security threat. Reports indicate that senior military officers support Zaman and are prepared to act on his command. Yunus has reportedly considered replacing Zaman with the Lieutenant General Fezur Rahman, who is seen as more aligned with his administration. There are also unverified claims that Yunus's associates attempted to bring in a foreign assassin to target Zaman. Resisting military pressure, Yunus has delayed announcing elections, insisting that reforms must be completed first. This political deadlock has fueled speculation about a military intervention or his resignation. The army has warned that prolonged uncertainty could threaten national security. Zaman has urged the military to return to the barracks after elections, but Yunus has stalled the process. The absence of an elected government has disrupted foreign investments, leading to an economic slowdown since Sheikh Hasina's departure. Meanwhile, public frustration is rising with continued protests over governance failures. Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the BNP, is demanding immediate elections, arguing that Yunus's administration is illegitimate and it lacks public support. The National Citizen Party, the NCP, which emerged from the student protests that ousted Hasina, supports electoral reforms before elections. However, it has criticized Yunus too for failing to unite political parties. Rival parties accuse Yunus of favoring the NCP and delaying elections for political gain.
I salute their ideas. They are the new generation. They have ideas really very vibrating and is a very prospective for the nations. They have decided to form a party most welcome. I think all the political parties have welcomed them to form a political party. But I would like to caution them, don't form a king's party, by mean with the support of the government. Historically in Bangladesh, no king's party have survived. So they must be very careful whether to form a king's party or to be a party with the people.
Tensions persist as Yunus remains in office due to political deadlock. China has provided strong economic and strategic backing, extending loan repayment periods as well as lowering interest rates while committing $2.1 billion in investments. Yunus has worked with Beijing to revive the Lal Monir Khat airbase, alarming India due to its proximity to the Siliguri corridor. He also supports the Rakhine Corridor, a key belt and road project, despite military opposition over sovereignty concerns. Japan is expanding investment, focusing on manufacturing, logistics, and the Matarbari deep sea port to enhance Bangladesh's trade.
The interim regime has a mammoth task to getting the economy back into the road. You see, we have to have the loan repayment. A big chunk of money goes away every year. And the economy is really suffering because the investment is also not coming. And you know, most of the investors will not come till there is an elected government.
Global powers are closely monitoring Bangladesh's political crisis. The UN condemns human rights abuses, citing extrajudicial killings and arbitrary arrests. The US demands free elections, warning of sanctions if democracy falters. The UK fears rising extremism, cautioning against radicalization risks. Yunus pushes reforms, but he lacks a strong mandate. His grip is slipping, and neighbors like India remain wary, as a healthy relationship between both countries is in the best interests of the region. When you think of Antarctica, what comes to your mind? Glaciers, snow, and what else? Of course, penguins. Those cute, waddling birds that add charm to the icy continent. But penguins are more than just adorable creatures. Did you know penguins might be helping to slow down climate change in Antarctica just by pooping? It may sound strange, but penguins are actually a key part of the Antarctic ecosystem, playing a surprising role in the environment. Scientists recently discovered that the ammonia in penguin poop could help form clouds. Here's how it works. Penguins release ammonia into the air. When this ammonia mixes with sulfur gases from tiny ocean plants called phytoplankton, it creates tiny particles called aerosols. Now, these aerosols are important because water vapor needs a surface to stick to before it can form clouds. So, more aerosols mean more clouds. And why are clouds important? Clouds act like a blanket in the sky. They keep the earth cooler by reflecting sunlight and preventing heat from escaping too quickly. This cooling effect helps keep the Antarctic sea ice from melting too fast. A team of scientists spent 2 months studying a huge colony of 60,000 Adelie penguins at Marambio Base in Antarctica. They found that when the wind blew from the penguin colony, ammonia levels in the air shot up more than 1,000 times higher than usual. Even after the penguins left for the season, the leftover poop continued to release ammonia for a long time. They also noticed that higher ammonia meant more aerosols in the air, which caused fog to form near the colony. This shows that penguin poop is actually helping to cool the Antarctic atmosphere, highlighting how important it is to protect these native animals and their habitats. Now let's leave Antarctica for a moment and fly to Argentina. Recently, 11 Magellanic penguins were rescued along the Buenos Aires coast. They were weak and hungry when found, but after a few months of care at the Mundo Marino Foundation, they were healthy again. The penguins were released back into the ocean from San Clemente del Tuyu beach, accompanied by local students. Watching them swim away was a hopeful reminder of the ongoing efforts to protect penguins around the world. Since we are talking about penguins, let's learn some unique facts about these amazing birds. Penguins live mostly in the southern hemisphere, but not all penguins live in icy Antarctica. You can find them in places like Australia, New Zealand, and even close to the equator in the Galapagos Islands. Penguins live in colonies where they huddle together and stay warm and safe. Although they can't fly, penguins are incredible swimmers, making them the fastest swimming birds. Scientists believe penguins evolved from birds that could fly. Their wings have evolved into flippers, letting them literally fly underwater. Unlike most birds that have hollow bones, penguins have solid bones that help them dive deeper. Their feathers are waterproof and insulated, keeping them warm in icy waters. Some penguins, like the emperor penguins, can dive over 1,800 feet deep. That's deeper than most other birds can go. Penguins are also famous for their parenting skills. Male emperor penguins are like super dads. After the female lays an egg, she goes off to find food, while the male keeps the egg warm on his feet for over 2 months in freezing weather, without eating anything. These dads even produce a special milk-like substance to feed their chicks at first. Penguins have special glands that help them remove excess salt from their bodies, allowing them to drink salt water and stay hydrated. In noisy penguin colonies, families find each other by unique calls. Many penguins mate for life, returning to the same partner year after year. And here's a fun fact. Some male penguins gift females with stones to help build their nests. All these penguin adaptations matter because penguins depend on a healthy Antarctic environment. And so do we. Antarctica's ice, ocean, and ecosystems play a huge role in regulating the world's climate. But climate change is melting the ice at an alarming rate. This threatens not just penguins, but the entire planet. The ice helps drive ocean currents, slow global warming, and store carbon dioxide. When ice melts, it affects sea levels and weather patterns everywhere. One especially worrying area is the Western Antarctic ice shelf, home to the Thwaites Glacier, which is popularly known as the Doomsday Glacier. If it melts completely, sea levels could rise by 10 feet, flooding cities around the world. So penguins are much more than cute birds on ice. From the clouds that their poop helps form, to their incredible survival skills, penguins are vital to our planet's health. Protecting them and their fragile home means protecting our future. So next time you see a penguin, remember, these little birds might just be some of the greatest climate heroes we have. Thanks for watching. That's all we have in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Mark Lynn signing off. Take care and stay safe. Namaskar.